Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast. It is Thursday, the big free agency week continuing to roll. We have a CHGO Bears announcement to make on today's show. We are very excited about it. The Bears are introducing free agents at Halas Hall. We got Nicholas Moreano there with the latest on that. He will join us momentarily. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr. with you on this
beautiful Thursday.
I'm tweeting the show. I know yesterday I was phoneless the entire show, but I'm tweeting the show right now, so I get permission, right?
If you then chuck that phone across the room when you're done tweeting.
I can't chuck it.
Yeah. Then you're good.
Huck it, chuck it, football!
That was a good start to the show.
Yeah.
Karm.
Karm has no idea what we're referencing because he's not cultured.
All I'm thinking.
Didn't know what Buffalo was.
Only thing I'm thinking about today is Amen Agabawungi. And that dude is leading us to the promised land.
That's definitely not his name.
We are going to the Super Bowl. I don't mean to be rude and not pronounce his name correctly. I've been working on it. I wrote it down. I have it phonetically spelled out. I closed my computer, though, before the show. And so that's my excuse. Kevin Byard was the most impressive press conference I've ever seen. Can't wait to talk to Nicholas Moreano in a second.
Oh, wow.
Bears.
Karm in on Byard, since we know he bases everything off of press conferences.
Oh, yes.
And interviews.
Locker room crush is coming
up.
Who
Karm's a big fan of this signing. All right, make sure you hit that like button to start the show today. Also, hit that subscribe button if you're here for the first time. We'll be ready all free agency as it continues to roll. We're just still kind of the back end of the first wave, maybe into the second wave. There's still a third and fourth and fifth wave still to come. We'll have you covered throughout the whole time. Of course, if there's a big trade, we will do an emergency show. So please subscribe to CHGO Sports. Make sure you hit that notification button so you know when we go live. Also, just a reminder, next Thursday, we're going to be live at Circa in Waukegan for the start of the college basketball tournament. And we have a special show that morning at 9:30 a.m. to get that kind of out of the way and lead into a great day of basketball. Yep. Also, we have some special things going on next week, which we will clue you in. But next week, you're definitely going to be wanting to be here each and every day as we inch closer and closer to the draft.
Yeah,
so
come out to Circa next Thursday. We're doing the show at 9:30. Then we're doing a college basketball show special right after that. And then I'm going to be hanging out there all day, watching games, placing bets, having fun. So come on out to Circa in Waukegan and hang with me.
After we talk to Nick about the Kevin Byard press conference, we're going to make a big show announcement. Is there anything you want to tease right now?
That we have a big show announcement
That's it?
Coming up soon. I put on Twitter, big announcement at 12 p.m., and everybody's like, well, you got to say it at 12. No, you're going to wait. You're going to listen to Nick Moreano's reporting, and then we're going to reveal this huge announcement that is a very exciting announcement for all of you to hear with your ears.
And another reason to be a diehard is even when you don't know it, you have the benefit of being a diehard because our diehards are already well aware of this announcement and apparently have already been making moves.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Also, sorry to interrupt, Adam, but before we get to Super Chats today, I have multiple apologies, so stay tuned for that. I'd like to just tee up that I will be apologizing. You will not be a part of it, but brags. But I do owe some people and some companies an apology.
And I'm going to do the opposite of apologize because I'm going to go at some people today.
All right.
Wow.
Angry Hoge is here.
I'm not even angry. It's just
a lot of teasing.
It's time to have a conversation.
Some good teases today.
Aggressive Hoge is here. Coming at you, Hoge.
It's time to have a real conversation with some Bears fans.
I think
that really need it. Really need it. Right now, we need Nicholas Moreano, though. Let's bring him in from Halas Hall. He was there this morning to cover Kevin Byard's press conference. DeAndre Swift also expected to talk to reporters maybe an hour-ish from now. He still was getting in the building today. But we did hear from Kevin Byard, Nick, and clearly now this was a reminder to everybody. He was released a couple weeks ago, so he was eligible to sign before free agency started. He took his visit with the Bears last weekend and decided to sign up on Sunday before the negotiating window officially opened on Monday for everybody else. So he wanted to be a Bear, right, Nick?
That's right, Adam. And, this is Kevin Byard's first time really testing free agency, but he knew that he would bounce back on his feet quickly. And look, here's what he had to say on what attracted him to join the Chicago Bears.
Well, first and foremost, it's a blessing to be here. I'm going on year 9 in this league. To be playing this long or to even get to this year 9 has been a huge blessing, something I've dreamed about as a kid. But for the Bears specifically, this defense, I really like what Coach Matt is building here just as a team. There's a lot of things to be excited about, but like I said, this defense has a lot of great pieces here for sure, especially in the secondary. Obviously, just signed Jalen to a big extension. I really think highly of him. He's a really great player. And obviously, getting with Brisker, Jaquan, I think he's going to be he's a really good extended player as well. But obviously, a lot of pieces from Kyler Gordon. Obviously, Tyreek Stevenson was a rookie last year. So, like was doing the secondary. And obviously, you got Montez Sweat, who obviously brought into the trade. Actually, Montez went to my rival high school, Stevenson High School down in Georgia. So, like I said, a lot of great pieces and obviously 2 really good linebackers. So, excited about this defense and just excited about the prospect of what we can build this team and the challenge of obviously trying to knock Detroit off the high horse.
Yeah, so, guys, you hear him naming specific players, especially in that secondary. It's arguably one of the best groups that Byard's going to be a part of. And so it makes sense that Byard is intrigued about what the whole entire unit can accomplish. And I asked Byard, too, with the uncertainty at quarterback, was that a factor in him maybe being hesitant to sign with Chicago? But he said, no, not at all. Responsibility for him is to be the best safety he can be for this organization. So he'll leave those types of bigger picture, decisions up to the obviously the higher ups. But no matter what the organization does, Byard believes that it'll be the right one.
Hey, Nick, you know me well. What bothered me most about that initial cut that we played?
What bothered you most?
You called him Coach Matt?
Nope. Well, I didn't like that part either.
Okay,
his name is
that's
Flus.
what I was thinking.
I didn't like the Matt part. Flus is his name. What else? Anybody?
No.
Does
What was
anybody
it? What
know
was
me
it?
on? Does anyone know me on the show?
Well, what we know about you is to know that you're about to say something stupid, and we're just unsure what it's about to be.
Right.
Well, why
That's
don't you-
just so.
There
That's
are
all
no,
we know.
There
Why
are
don't-
no depths to your stupidity. So, this is.
Let's
if
hear
I'm,
it.
if I'm not, I guarantee you that there's at least one other person that's annoyed by this, and maybe the chat will get it before you 3 supposed teammates. Anybody?
Okay.
Thank you, Larry Price. 2 linebackers. Larry Price is my guy. Well, there are 2 linebackers. Have you heard of the Sand God? You named everybody. You didn't name him. Then you only named 2 linebackers. Byard. I said at the start of the show I loved him. Didn't listen to that quote as well as I should have. That's on me. Byard fired. I'm out on Byard. Guy stinks.
You know what? I'm going to back you up on this.
Thank you.
But it's going to be maybe even more terrifying because, and I'm not going to say who it was, but I was having a conversation with a current Chicago Bears coach at the Combine, and the same thing happened. And I yelled at him. I said, "What about Sanga?"
The guy just got the Ed Block Courage Award. Virginia McCaskey was there. We will not slander the Sandgog like that. That is not acceptable. Emma, who just arrived, thank you.
He's going into the last year of his contract too, you guys. So this is a big year for the Sand Gods. So he can potentially earn himself a payday if he goes out there and is able to get some reps on the football field this season.
All right. One of the most impressive things that I did not know, Nick, until he said it, and good job, I think Pat Finley followed up just to be clear on it. But Kevin Byard apparently has never missed a practice due to injury
That's
his
impressive.
entire NFL career. That's unheard of. Like, hasn't missed a Wednesday because his ankle's a little sore from the game. Like, that's awesome.
That's great. Let's never speak of it again. After today. Seriously, the walking jinx that is Adam Hoge. Do not talk about this.
Right. We'll have a after dark or diehard overtime about you and your jinxes.
Well,
but that
Nick,
was impressive, though, was it, Nick? Did it stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that's going into his ninth season and, hasn't even missed practice, I mean, that just shows, again, I think it's the attention to detail that he really makes it just an imperative part of his game. And he was asked like, how can you do that? And he's like, well, the details show up in how he takes care of his body, takes body maintenance really seriously, and as a saying goes, like your best ability is availability. And for the most part, Byard has been available when he was with Tennessee, even after he got traded and was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles for 10 games. He didn't miss snaps there. So I think that just describes the attention to detail. But, also that shows up when he was kind of talking about his already new teammates. And it was about halfway through the season where Byard was talking about, guys like Jaquan Brisker, Jalen Johnson, they were showing up on tape because this is a guy that loves to constantly watch tape. So he's already getting familiarized with some of their game as, he's going through his season with the Philadelphia Eagles, but also noticing that guys in that secondary are also popping off. So it is incredible that he has been this healthy. Hopefully that, continues over here in Chicago as he's still kind of here roaming and exploring the facility here. But yeah, that availability will be huge for the Bears because look, Eddie Jackson towards the tail end of his career, he did the exact opposite. He was dealing with some injuries, so it'd be nice to have that veteran presence on the football field at, when they need it on game days.
Yeah, well, I mean, but to your point, like that he's been able to stay healthy, just because he's not missed a practice doesn't mean he's necessarily always healthy. I mean, right? I mean, players are constantly battling through injuries. So to me, that's leading by example. And even when you're not 100% showing up to work every day and getting your practice in. And that's, I think something other players, that's a contagiousness that other players will, follow that lead. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that probably stood out to most people watching, the press conferences. It seems like this guy, exudes a lot of leadership.
Absolutely, Greg. I mean, that's what he wants to be. He wants to be an asset to the secondary because of that leadership perspective. And to show that leadership, he wants to first earn the players' respect. And he said you can simply do that by showing up every single day, working hard, and just studying in the classroom. And once that respect is then earned by showing it with the actions, then you lead by example. And then Byard feels like then he could be more vocal and kind of share that wisdom, so to speak, because he is the oldest player in this Bears secondary. But the first part is just earning the players' respect, and that just kind of he's going to continue doing what he's always done: show up every single day, be on the field, and then he'll start being vocal after that.
Nick, what's his big motivation this season as he joins this team? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so it isn't his age. Look, he's 30 years old, and guys, Gordon, Brisker, and Jalen Johnson are all right now 24. Jalen Johnson will be 25 in April, I think a day before Jaquan Brisker. So it's not the age that he's motivated by. Simply, he just wants to continue doing what he's doing. He's excited about being around the younger players and being a resource for them. And also, even though the Titans traded him, and the Eagles are done with him after 10 games, he isn't in that business to really prove anybody wrong. He's more simply looking to prove himself right, excited to display his ball hawking skills, and feels confident those attributes will show up now that he's in a defense that really has playmakers at all three levels. So that's the motivation that Kevin Byard, finds for himself going into year 9, being at 30 years old, and obviously still looking for a Super Bowl ring, but he finds motivation, just continue to do what he's been doing and just leading by example.
Hey, Nick, slight left turn as Tyler Boyd signs with the Steelers to apparently team up with Russ. Any free agent as you're sitting at Halas Hall today that you're thinking about that you love the Bears to go after you listen to one of the ones they signed?
Love to go after. I mean, look, I'm still going to be on the Curtis Samuel train, just adding more playmakers at the wide receiver position because I think there just isn't. You guys were talking about it in depth yesterday, but they just need to add more guys for this offense in 2024. It's nice to have a Gerald Everett and DeAndre Swift who we'll listen to a little bit, but you need to add more veteran receiver presence for this offense in 2024. So putting out a guy like Curtis Samuel and see, maybe we'll see what the Bears can do. I don't know if I'm really in on the Mike Williams, even though he got released, the injuries. I know the connection with the Bears wide receiver coach, but that would be a risky move in my opinion. But if the Bears were to go that route, it does fill a position of need. But I think Curtis Samuel's a guy to maybe keep your eyes on.
Couple minor quarterback movement things going on right now. I'm going to share with you guys, Nick, maybe get your reaction too. But Nathan Peterman apparently is going to sign with the Saints. That would reunite him with Andrew Janocko. So that one makes sense. But Jonathan Jones from CBS reporting the Falcons are working on a trade that will send quarterback Desmond Ritter to the Arizona Cardinals. Ritter, who went 8-9 across 2 years as a starter, would back up Kyler Murray as the Falcons move forward with Kirk Cousins. That will be interesting to see what the trade compensation is for a Desmond Ritter compared to obviously what ends up happening with Justin Fields. But so far, I'm not seeing anywhere else what that compensation will be, but we will communicate that as soon as we see it.
Well, the Desmond Ritter, I mean, again, once we hear what the trade compensation is, it's like, okay, you look at that for Justin Fields then, and whatever it is, it has to be higher than that. Like that's maybe like the benchmark, right? And so at least we're seeing
Mac Jones trade, right? I mean, Mac Jones, 6th-round pick. Come on, it's got to be more than that.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And, I was talking to some of the people here at Halas Hall, B report, and it's like I was thinking maybe this doesn't get done until draft day, when, the Bears are ultimately looking to select the number 1 overall pick and something ends up happening. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how those dominoes fall. And with obviously the quarterback market being what it is, and maybe potentially teams not wanting to give up a pick, and obviously you have the 5th year extension, things like that. So there's a lot of complicated things when it comes to Justin Fields and where his possible next destination will be.
Nick, you're going to be talking to DeAndre Swift here in a little bit at Halas Hall. What are you most looking forward to trying to learn about, Swift?
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. One thing that I was just thinking about as I was actually setting up here, he's played behind some really good centers in his career, whether it was with Detroit or even with the Eagles. Like, how much of a factor that position, having a guy at that important position for the offense, how much of a factor that has for an offense, because the Bears, I think, could still use a dominant force at center. But, he had his best career rushing season last year. What kind of led to that ascension for himself? Because in Detroit, it didn't quite go the way I think Detroit wanted or he wanted, but what kind of led to that? Maybe it's just being behind a great offensive line. But, yeah, just a couple of things in the pipeline that I'm thinking about for DeAndre Swift and how he ultimately thinks he could be a complement to the Bears offense with a Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, being more of a, running back by committee. But it'll be interesting to see if that's how Shane Waldron views this after the contract that, Swift just signed.
All right, Nick, good stuff. We'll be following you for DeAndre Swift's press conference.
Yeah, and just one thing, Nick, because I've what?
Whether we're ending a show or ending an interview, Hoge always wraps it, and then you always
interrupt with something.
You've always
else.
got the one more.
Well,
You've got the one more.
That better be good.
It is very good. I've called out Nick in the past for bad hair, for just not being on his game. Today, the vest, the hat, the sleeves. This dude. I mean, GQ is here today. I mean, that I had to interrupt that. I mean, look at the guy. Seriously.
That was actually my football coach gave me the nickname GQ in high school. I'm like, GQ, what is GQ? He's like, oh, you don't know what GQ is? I'm like, oh, okay. And then I looked into it. So it fits. Actually, I stole this vest from Ryan Poles, you guys. So, the video.
I see what you did there. Who also is in GQ? Caleb Williams. Just saying. All right, Nick. We'll be following you. Make sure you're following Nick at Nicholas Moreano, allchgo.com for the rest of the free agency press conference. There's also going to be a couple tomorrow, so Nick will be at Halas Hall. We'll have all that covered tomorrow as well. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, GQ.
All right, you guys.
All right, it is time to pass it over to Greg Braggs, who has been itching.
Oh, man.
To
this is
share this
big
news.
People in the chat are asking for it. The tension has been building. Very excited to announce this. Do we get a drum roll here?
No,
Steven, our super producer? I mean, we don't have to get a drum roll, but I feel like... Oh, wow. So we are announcing here today, 6 weeks from today, our draft party on April 25th at Joe's on Weed Street. We're going to have a big-time event. 2 nights, once again, just like last year. once again at Joe's on Wheat Street, but this time we're going to be on the main stage room. Last year we upgrade you. Last year we were in the front room where the bar was, and it was a lot of fun. We did it up well, but this year it's going to be twice as big. We all understand how exciting this draft is for everyone and the anticipation of what the Bears will do. So Thursday night from 7 to 10, we'll be doing our show live from Joe's on Wheat Street on the main stage in the back room where all the concerts are playing. And we're going to have a lot of fun breaking down the first round of the draft. And then my guy, DJ Trey Tunes, after the show is over on Thursday, we're going to keep the party rolling, have the DJ rocking some music out, and we'll celebrate finally having a finality of what the Bears are going to be doing. And then Friday, we're running it back. April 26th at Joe's on Weed Street, 6 to 10 p.m. for the second and third round. And what's even cooler about the Friday event is that Gary Fensick will be on hand at our party, and you'll have the ability to take a picture, get an autograph, and meet Gary Fensick. And if you go to allchgo.com, find the events page, you can get your tickets and your upgrades. You can, if you want just general admission, it's $25. But if you want some upgraded tickets for all you can drink, those options are available to you. And then if you come on Friday, if you want to get the upgrade to meet Gary Fensick and get an autograph from him, you have that available to you as well. And then to top things off, guys, I'm going to top it off. Then after the show on Friday, once again, we're going to keep the party rolling, and we're going to have a country music, show, a little band that's going to be that's been at Joe's on Wheat Street multiple times. That's going to be there after the show is over. So we're going to keep the party rolling and keep rocking and rolling all night long Friday night. You're going to have plenty of drinks with me. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We want them to come, Greg.
Oh, they're going to.
Don't oversell
all
it.
Drinks
don't oversell it.
Are going to be.
So if you were there last year,
Carman.
this is like last year's party on steroids. And then if you weren't there last year, well, you got to come because it's going to be the best draft party in the city. We're excited about it. Tickets available right now. Go to allchgo.com/events.
I don't know if it's /events.
Whatever. You can find it.
AllCHGO.com.
Just go to the events page, allchgo.com. It's right there at the top.
It's live. People are already buying tickets.
Don't doubt my knowledge of our own website.
No, I didn't. Did I?
Yes.
I did doubt you. I should know these things. But there's only so much that I can fit within my brain. But yes, go there, get your tickets. The Discord channel figured this out this morning. They were doing their research. So people are already buying tickets. So get yours. Come on out because, hey, Friday, we're going to be the only draft show in town. So if you want somewhere to celebrate things, make sure you're coming out. And the other draft parties that are going around on Thursday are already sold out. So if you want an opportunity to come somewhere, hang out, because the other aspect too is Corey Wooten is going to be there both days, Thursday night and Friday, on hand, just like last year, analyzing the draft with us as well.
And all of it is sponsored and presented to you by Circus Sports and Casa Azul.
And it would have been nice if I had been consulted about the country music part of this, because I am assuming that I will have an opportunity to get on stage and contribute.
So
again, we're trying to sell tickets here, guys.
So there has been some conversations on Thursday night with DJ Trey Tunes that you might be able to grab the mic and sing Secret Benjamin. It's in the works. We'll see.
Really?
Or if you want to come up with a new song, maybe you could come up with a new song. Or I know Secret Benjamin's your wheelhouse, but we might let you go up there and rock it out on the same stage that Old Dominion and many greats, Kenny Chesney, many great singers have performed on that stage, and we're going to be performing on it this year.
I'm excited about the country music part of it. That's for sure.
In theory, if they draft Caleb, I could have a Caleb song ready to sing.
In theory.
Wow.
And in theory, it'll suck.
So yeah, once again, shout out to Circus Sports, Casa Azul, Collector's Cave for helping us bring Gary Fensick in, and of course my guy DJ Trey Tunes. And if you've been to our tailgates, the first year he was at all our tailgates providing the music. Really good dude. So bringing it all together for a big-time draft party here 6 weeks from today, 42 days away. So get your tickets now while you can, because they're gonna go quick.
I am going to change the subject now, because if I don't, Braggs will spend the next 35 minutes.
I'm so
continuing
excited.
to talk about
I am
this draft
so
party.
excited about this draft party.
So please go to the website.
Look
get
at the
your
graphic.
tickets.
My guy Ray right on the front. My guy Ray and Kevin, he's choking out that Lions fan. It's a beautiful graphic.
All right.
Here's your trade compensation for Desmond Ritter going to the Cardinals. Rondale Moore. According to Ian Rappaport, it's just a straight-up player-for-player
Boiler up.
trade.
I like straight-up trade. That's fun.
Dude, Rondale Moore's a player.
I was going to say, are you kidding me? Like, the Falcons just dumped their quarterback. They have no interest in keeping for Rondale Moore has not been as productive as I probably thought coming out of Purdue, but
Same.
he's still a weapon like that you got to account for when he's on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to that regard, what is their wide receiver room now? They've got Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore,
Drake London,
got
Kyle Pitts, tight end.
So
Bijan Robinson out of the backfield.
Because with the Darnell Mooney signing, a lot of people were kind of alluding to, well, now Atlanta probably isn't going wide receiver. Now this bolsters that opinion maybe even more.
I mean, a little bit, but I'm not sure they have. If you were to draft Rome Odunze, he'd be my number one wide receiver on that team.
I know, but let's let them think. Like, can we use our propaganda machine here for good use?
Sure.
Atlanta, you guys are set at wide receiver.
Ryan Pace watches everything.
Don't you worry about
good.
a thing. Hoge might have questioned your signing of Kirk Cousins, but we are not questioning your wide receiver group. You guys are set there. Roma Dudes 8-9.
It might lower the chances of them taking a wide receiver.
They're not drafting Roma Dunze. No chance. I say no chance.
Okay.
Well, you're super smart. We always listen to you.
That's what you should be doing. Thank you
All right,
very
well,
much.
listen to me now, because PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, the easiest, most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. You pick more than or less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projection. Watch the winnings roll in. It's that easy. Football season may be over, but the action on the floor is heating up, whether it's tournament season or the fight for playoff home court. There's no shortage of high-stakes basketball moments this time of year. Get in on the excitement with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, where you can turn your hoops knowledge into serious cash. Conference tournaments are here, which means the biggest moments in college basketball are getting closer. Be part of the action on PrizePicks for both men's and women's college basketball. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and college basketball entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to prizepicks.com/CHGO. You use that code CHGO, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/CHGO. Use code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Have you ever heard of March Radness? Hoge. The best offers of the year are going on right now. March Radness, the sales event. Make your way to our friends at Ray Chevrolet. Tell Ray I say hello. Tell him you want to be like Karm, drive a Chevy Trax, live the dream. Every time I walk into my car, I'm like, Trax, take me to the promised land. Let's go Trax. It's on Route 12 in Fox Lake. Join in on the savings. One of the top Chevy dealers in the Midwest. You'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Perfect tailgate vehicles. If you're looking ahead, they await. Ray Chevy during Truck Month for a limited time offer. They're offering 0% financing for 72 months on new Silverados with over 100 available. 125 vehicles under $20,000. Seriously, guys, come on. The pricing, can we get it any more affordable? You cannot. And everyone, by the way, loves the word free, and that's what you'll get this month at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. A free oil change. That's right. Get in, get it done. All you need to do is mention CHGO when you schedule your oil change. Start off the year right and schedule it by April the 1st. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
All right.
Here comes Hoge right now, like you've never hogged before.
Like I've never hogged before. I don't know about that. I think it's time for a conversation. Steven, can you put the camera on me? Because I think we need to get a little intimate
this is
about
going to
this
be good.
And I don't do this very often, but I want to set a couple ground rules for what's about to be discussed here. Okay, one is, I'm going to take off my Adam Hoge reporter hat for a minute here and talk to you as Adam Hoge, born in the heart of the city. I think it was St. Joseph's Hospital that used to be at the corner of Lincoln and Armitage. Grew up right down the street from there. Okay, lifelong Chicagoan. Grew up a diehard Bears fan. All right.
Great area, Lincoln and Armitage. Love it.
River Shannon, right there on the corner. My mom walked home from the hospital.
Should have stopped at the oven grinder.
Actually, no, the story is she walked to the hospital while she was in labor.
Should have stopped at the oven grinder.
Okay. Oven grinder's right there. Been there. A lot of great places. The original Rinaldi's. So many. We're in the heart of the city here. Okay.
Right.
Chicagoan Bears fan coming at you right now. I also want to make sure that everyone understands I am talking to maybe 5% of the fan base right now. Okay. But it is a percentage of the fan base that's making everyone else look like morons. Okay. You got to stop this. So this morning, I wake up and I do what I was very excited to do this morning and turn on the golf. Players Championships on this week. Love this tournament. The 5th major. It's one of the best ones, okay? You guys know I love golf. I turn it on. I got it on while I'm eating my yogurt and some berries, a little granola in there too.
Wow.
Yeah. Good start to the morning.
Good health.
And this pops up on my TV as I'm watching. Caleb Williams is standing there. Caleb Williams, who's been training in the Jacksonville area, taking some time this morning, some time off from hard pre-draft training, getting ready for his pro day.
Right.
Great move by Caleb. I love this. I also love that the quarterback the Bears are most likely going to draft and add to their roster is already this big celebrity. They're showing him following Rory McIlroy, and that wasn't his only appearance on TV. Like, this is a big deal that Caleb Williams, this guy that everybody should be excited about, is there at this tournament. So I tweet this out. I go take a shower. I get in my car, head down here. And I realize as this 5%, let's call it that. I don't really know what it is, but it's definitely like this very vocal minority of the Bears fan base.
14%.
Okay, 14%. Let's call it that. Handling this how I probably should have known better here. Would have handled this. So let's mention Wayne Whitlock here on Twitter.
The Whitlock.
Yeah. I have no problem with him attending this tournament, but when the Bears are literally waiting around for him to meet with them and give them his medicals, this is a turnoff. Priorities? Okay. So, Wayne, you do have a problem with him being at the golf tournament, and you're just annoyed he's at the golf tournament and not talking to your team, even though you really don't want him. Weird response.
Caleb Williams failed Wayne Whitlock.
Yeah. And if you don't, again,
Probably hit up Jason Whitlock for that take.
Point it out again. He's in Jacksonville. He's training in Jacksonville. He took some of his time. Maybe this is a day off for him. Believe it or not, these guys training for the draft have days off built in. Maybe that happens to be this morning. God forbid he goes to a golf tournament.
There's also 24 hours in the day. Keep going.
Let's talk to at YouBetWhat, okay, on Twitter. You say he is training. I've never seen a picture or video of him training or working out. Biggest workout of his life is March 20th. He's hanging at a golf course? Not impressed, with the stock down emoji attached to this. Boy, there's some heavy shut up and dribble energy going on right there in that.
I mean, hey, God forbid that you work out and don't document it for social media. You know, I mean, you can do that.
Right.
Coming from someone that has taken a few selfies at a gym in his day.
What? Including this morning. At Sharif3AJ. Damn, I thought he had to focus on his pro day. LMAO. Okay, again. God forbid he does something other than train. So I want to now highlight this tweet from David Young. who we won't go off the rails with his Twitter handle. We'll just say, because he brings up a great point. He says, Hoge, what happened to Bears fans? I have never in my life watched a fan base falsely try and destroy the character this much of a player who they will be drafting. It's sickening and making us look even more of a laughingstock of a fan base, which is 100% true. You can like Justin Fields. You can want them to keep Justin Fields. But this character assassination of Caleb Williams is so beneath you.
It's not.
But it should be.
Okay.
And this idea that Twitter is just a cesspool, which it is, should not be an excuse for what you're still doing out there. Because the reality is, we can make fun of Twitter all we want. We still spend time on it. It's still a reflection of the fan base. And these idiots on Twitter are making the entire fan base look dumb. And we hear it at the Super Bowl. We hear it at the Combine. When we talk to other media members, what they're putting up with from these Bears fans on a daily basis. And it's I honestly think that these fans think if they tear him down, they're going to convince him that he doesn't want to be a Bear and he's going to try to get out of being a Bear. I think they actually think that. I think they do. And I think that this is their motivation for doing this. But this isn't the only thing I wanted to point out there. This is not just Caleb versus Justin, because there's been a lot of this too. So this is a different topic, but still part of my point. Okay? There's this tweet from Michael Snyder I got. I think we actually have this one to throw on the screen. It says, I am infuriated with how soft Chicago sports media is. They will never criticize the GM as long as he is better than the previous one. That's the standard here with Adam Hoge. Just be better than the last guy, and we will blindly support and defend you. Be objective, CHGO Sports. This was in response to the video we put out yesterday in which I went through the history of me covering this team with free agency and why being patient in free agency usually pays off. So instead of just, taking that for what it is, my history of covering this team, this guy Michael needs to come out and call the whole sports media soft, saying we never criticize the GM. Michael apparently has a podcast, so let me give you some advice as somebody who hosts 2 Bears podcasts, okay? Let's actually have some knowledge before we go off on the media like this. So here's some knowledge. Woo! Here's some knowledge you could actually have to share on your podcast if you want to use it. First of all, in terms of us never criticizing Ryan Poles, this show has killed Ryan Poles for the Chase Claypool trade more than any other show out there, okay? We were critical of the Velus Jones draft pick the moment it happened, literally. Go look it up. Go find that draft show. The second that draft pick was made, we were critical of it. We said it didn't make any sense. We have criticized the moves that haven't worked out, and we will continue to do so. That is actually what being objective is, if you want to know what objectivity is. All right? If you wanted the Bears to go out and spend a bunch of money on Danielle Hunter, just say that. You can make that argument. It's a decent argument. We did it on this show yesterday, had you been watching. Braggs wanted them to make that signing, spend that money. I was okay with them not doing it. We had a nice conversation about that. You can do that if that's what this is about without going off and being an idiot on Twitter, bringing everybody else down with the negativity that the whole Chicago media is soft and doesn't know what they're talking about. Here's the reality for everybody saying that the Bears are not spending money, all right? Since Ryan Poles traded a second-round pick for Montez Sweat and signed him to a $98 million contract, Ryan Poles has handed out $237.75 million in contracts since November. Also gave up a second-round pick and a fifth-round pick. Money and draft capital. So you're saying he's doing nothing and he's being cheap? You don't know what you're talking about, and you haven't been paying attention to what's really been going on, as this guy in 2 years has completely reset the roster, cleaned up a horrible mess that was left for him, getting rid of an awful cap situation and turning it into one of the best that exists in the NFL today. He pulled off an all-time heist to not only give the Bears access to one of the most talented quarterbacks that has ever come in the NFL draft, who happens to be at a golf tournament this morning, that everyone wants to tear him down for enjoying some time in his life. Oh, and by the way, they also have the number 9 pick, 8 picks later after that.
Got a little lucky getting number 1, but this is one of the best Hoge moments in Hoge history.
So just stop being dumb. Again, I'm talking to a very small percentage of this fan base, but you're making everyone else look stupid to the rest of the world. Just stop it. It's beyond idiotic.
I feel like Hoge history could be a new thing. That was great.
Man.
You feel better?
I do.
Okay, good.
I feel great.
Hellfire and brimstone. Hoge,
I can't wait to go watch
and
more
come
golf.
to our draft party.
I can't wait to watch more golf. I hope there's a camera on there the whole time at Caleb Williams. They should just have a Caleb cam the entire time, just to annoy the 5 people that just want him to shut up and go train for the draft.
I honestly think that, you're entitled to be the way you've been the last, call it a week or so, but I think you've been Bears fans constipated, and you needed to get your actual back to your real energy.
Bears Twitter constipation?
You had some constipation of the fandom or a 5% of the fandom, let's say it like that, and you needed a cathartic moment, and it was a pleasure to be just a viewer. To be close to you as you let it all out, because listen, we're all having feelings and emotions. Speaking it out is good. Better help. Do the things. That was good. Caleb's allowed to go to a golf tournament.
And it's like this have it both ways thing. You'll hear some fans or a lot of fans say, "Oh, the media is too negative." Then you have somebody saying the media is too soft. You hear both. Then you'll hear. I had a guy tell me, "Oh, you're just so pompous and so adamant about your position on a take or a prediction," but he also, the same person told me I fence ride too much. Well, which one is it? Am I standing too strong on something, or do I fence ride? It's this have it both ways thing where we can't find this middle ground, and everything's got to be in this hyperbole, and that's how you can discredit someone else's opinion. To your point, when you talk about the salary cap, I hear some fans say, Green Bay knows how to develop quarterbacks. Green Bay also builds through the draft. So, if you're going to rail against, the free agent approach this season for Ryan Poles, then don't talk about how they develop quarterbacks, because they develop quarterbacks, they build through the draft. So if you're going to use Green Bay as this example that we need to live by, there is a bit of a talking out of both sides of your mouth just to fit whatever argument you're having in that very moment. So I understand your frustrations, because it's all coming from different angles. And from some of these people, it's easy to kind of poke through the hypocrisy at times.
We have a thing that's going on in this world, in this beardom, in this country, in this everywhere, that I'm trying to say, that where you're on this team, so these are your thoughts, and you're always going to be there. Versus, that's what's going on.
Honestly, the main point of everything I just said there is just, if it's sports, if you have a sports argument, make your sports argument. Like, if you wanted them to spend money on Danielle Hunter, just say that. Just argue why.
And we did.
It doesn't have to be this whole tearing down everybody else the entire time. Well, it doesn't. This whole, and that's why I included the Caleb stuff off the top, because if you want Justin Fields, as I've said many times, there are reasons to have Justin Fields. There are many reasons to have Justin Fields.
Or just have fun.
And I'm sitting here most of this week defending Justin, because I think he's deserving of having a starting job elsewhere in this league. And I've been consistent on that. And I think he's going to have success wherever he goes.
And that falls on deaf ears. Falls on deaf ears. We've all said things that, we're all ready to draft Caleb Williams. We've said that. We're not hiding from that opinion or prediction that it will happen. But anytime we say anything that, hey, Justin is still a talented quarterback, he deserves to be a starting quarterback in the league, it falls on deaf ears. And we're lumped in with people that are saying, well, you're a hater and you're just completely ripping down his character. It cuts both ways. When you're saying you can like Justin Fields without ripping down Caleb's character, well, you can also prefer Caleb Williams to be drafted without ripping down Justin Fields with his character or his play on the field.
Which I'm very proud of our show that we haven't done. As much as we are getting accused of that, we have constantly been consistent on what Justin Fields is and isn't, and any of the criticisms has always been about his limitations on the football field and nothing else. We didn't take that video that was going around at the combine of him dancing or anything and been like, what's this guy doing dancing in his kitchen instead of training right now?
Right.
See, he's not committed to football.
Right.
That's what all these people are doing. So if you don't want Caleb, that's fine. Talk up your quarterback. Don't make stuff up and tear down this 22-year-old who I'm telling you is going to be a good football player in this league, whether it's for the Bears or somebody else. And there's no reason to go at him for this nonsense. And no one's really doing that to Justin because it's not fair to him. Well, it's not fair to Caleb either.
Right. I mean, when you get lumped in, I mean, so somebody that's highly critical or thinks that Justin Fields is trash, we're putting it in one. You're on one side or the other. So if we think that Caleb Williams should be drafted, then we're lumped in with the group of people that's, whatever percentage, 5%, that say Justin Fields is trash or should be a backup quarterback when we haven't said that. So it cuts both ways in that regard. I mean, to your point about not going over critical about things that don't matter. Last summer, Chase Claypool was doing a fashion design model shoot. And there was a lot of outlets that were picking that up and talking about it or even being critical about it. We didn't talk about that. We talked about his play on the field. I was an advocate of what Chase Claypool did at training camp. The rest of you guys dogged me for it. So, we have objectivity on here. You guys didn't feel the same way. I felt a different way, and that's how we approach things here.
All right. Well, yes, I am glad I got that off my chest. And
then the one more thing, too, is when you talk about getting things...
Gary Ross is breaking news.
Yes, sir. The other thing...
Not Brad Biggs, Gary Ross.
1 second. The one thing that we get lumped into with when you talk about reporting versus speculation... When you talk about that, there are people that report things that don't have an informed discussion with somebody else, and they're putting things out there, and then it gets lumped in with people that actually do good reporting, that have sources, that have information, that backs the reporting they're putting out there. So it's not just speculation, it's informed reporting, but it gets lumped in with people that put baseless reporting, and so then it all gets put together. And so we're just going to push aside anybody that has an informed opinion or informed report because there's people out there spreading misinformation and everybody's just following what suits their narrative.
Well, and to be honest, if I'm being completely vulnerable for a second, earlier in the week when you said Bears, or when you were referring to Bears Twitter constipation, that was honestly what was bothering me. Because there's a lot of us that were in Indianapolis and had a lot of conversations that had a very good sense of what the Justin Fields trade market was and wasn't really becoming. And we're on a daily basis sharing that information to you. And then there's a bunch of stuff out there that's borderline Aaron Rodgers at an ayahuasca retreat, just complete denial, believing that there's Justin Fields has never been shopped at all.
Right.
Which is essentially a complete conspiracy theory at this point that isn't true. So that's the stuff that earlier in the week honestly was getting to me because we do all this work, we spend all this time, and then you just got all these people out there like, well, yeah, none of that's not even remotely true, just because of one report that was put out earlier in the week that was then taken out of context, and the full flush of that report wasn't communicated the same way. So anyway, that eventually led to this morning with Caleb Williams at the golf tournament, and that was the final straw for me. So hope you all enjoyed that. Do you want to share who the Bears signed at center? According to Brad Biggs, Gary Ross,
and our own breaking Gary Ross, who has his first in the chat, which all that matters. Coleman Shelton coming over from the LA Rams. Let's put my glasses on so I make sure I'm not reading a 6 as an 8, and I would have. 28 years old, a Super Bowl champion, and now a Chicago Bear.
Well, and most importantly, started 30 games over the last 2 years for Sean McVay, and this is the system that we're bringing over here into Chicago.
Thank you for adding on. Very, very excellent, and we'll compete with
crossover with Shane Waldron in LA.
Ryan Bates.
We'll compete with Ryan Bates. You would think to be the Bears center in 2024. Also, if we're going to take this a little bit further, Coleman, Shelton, Ryan Bates, does that mean that the Bears are out on drafting a center per se? JPJ?
Maybe in the first round, but certainly not out of the woods to draft someone later,
right?
Potentially to develop.
But this has been the playbook so far, mostly with Ryan Poles.
But I got to say, I was worried, and I think a lot of us were worried that the Bears were just going to roll with Bates. And here we go. More options, more depth. 5-year vet here.
To me, Shelton makes more sense as the starting center. Sure, let him compete. Competition breeds success. But Ryan Bates having,
Bates hasn't played center a lot.
Right, he's a guard. He's played a lot of guard. Yeah. I mean, he might be able to potentially play both, but I look at Bates now as that swing interior guy that Lucas Patrick was to this team. And you have him, he can play center in in an emergency spot or be able to play guard. Guys aren't going to stay healthy all season long, so adding depth to the interior of the offensive line was vital. And now you get ahead of the draft where you've got a lot of different options at your disposal, but you don't exactly know how everything is going to fall to you. And so now they've bolstered some depth on the interior. We'll just have to wait and see if Braxton's their guy on the left side, but they're very close to shoring up, in my opinion, what their offensive line is going to look like in 2024.
And by the way, to our guy who wants us to be critical of Ryan Poles, I have been and will continue to be. I'm not comfortable with any of these center options right now. And I don't like how it's been handled over the last couple of years. And this is one position of need that I don't think they've given enough attention to. And I'm on record of saying, if you want to go ahead and use that first-round pick on Jackson Powers Johnson, I won't complain about it. I think it's that big of a need. And
I need to see the snap counts here, but yes, I mean this is another guy that falls under the Poles kind of offensive line philosophy of just having versatile guys, dudes that can play all over the place, but somebody that's not necessarily, at least as far as the center position, we haven't had a guy that is a center. That's what he does. And again, potential rookie quarterback. Having a guy that's comfortable that he can bond with.
In the system, too.
Yeah.
You've got to have somebody. This is a new system for whoever the quarterback is going to be, Justin Fields or Caleb Williams. You're installing a new system, and the center is a vital role in the offense, getting everybody lined up, making the call, identifying the mic. Who's going to identify the mic, right? To have a center that has this much experience in this system – is vital to, quarterback's development. So this is good. It's something that I totally sign off on.
Nick, by the way, has some stats that he just put out on Twitter on Coleman Shelton. Shelton played all of his 1,113 offensive snaps last season for the Rams at center. According to PFF, in 2022, he played 61 snaps at left guard, 462 at center, and 197 at right guard.
That's a lot of snaps at center, team.
He played 97% of the entire Los Angeles Rams snaps at center.
There you go. Shelton ended the 2023 season with 34 quarterback pressures allowed, 2 sacks, 11 hits, and 21 hurries.
Where does that rank?
That's about twice a game he's letting somebody through the A-gap. So that'll fit.
That's Lucas Patrick-esque.
That'll fit perfectly with what Caleb Williams saw at USC last year.
All right. With that in mind, maybe we could get Coleman some new flooring right here when he makes his way to Chicago. Let's tie it together.
That's good.
That's right. Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience. You get the right product for your needs. You get quick and professional installation. You get the low price guarantee. Empire Today making shopping for flooring simple. They are making it as easy for you as possible. Their philosophy has helped you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. And what they leave out of their selection is as important as what they put in. Empire's products team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect style. Shopping floors at a big store can be frustrating. You talked to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday, a la Braggs. Flooring is all Empire does today. They live and they breathe it, so you can be confident you're getting honest, upfront advice. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can get $350 off. That's the discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
That's right. And want to remind everybody, now is as good a time as ever to become a diehard here at CHGO Sports. Go to allchgo.com/diehard to sign up. And when you do, you get a free shirt right out the gate. A lot of great designs here in our Bears library, but all our sports across the board that we cover here at CHGO, Blackhawks, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, everything that you need to get your fill. Even the Chicago Sky got some really cool designs. You get a free shirt and discounts on any future purchase of those shirts or the merchandise within our store. You get discounts on events, including our draft party coming up in 42 days, 6 weeks from today at Joe's on Weed Street, Thursday night and Friday night, April 25th and 26th. Gary Fensick on hand Friday night. Live shows both days for the first round, second round, and third round. Got a DJ Trey Tunes on Thursday night. You got a country music band here on Friday night, and my guy Jake did share with me the name of that band because some people in Chicago probably might know them. Dalton and the Sheriffs, who frequent a lot of
The Dalton and the Sheriffs?
Dalton and the Sheriffs is going to be there. They frequent a lot of establishments here in Chicago. They do a great job. So if you're a diehard, you get a discount on that event. So make sure you sign up. You get Adam Hoge's newsletter that he puts out weekly. This week's newsletter, he will be yelling at all of you. And we have the Bears 100 draft guide to get you ready for the NFL draft. And in the Bears 100 draft guide is, something that's a database to get you ready specific to the Bears' needs. Adam, Nick, Mark, and myself at times, but mostly Adam and Nick are updating the database with their infinite knowledge of players coming out in the draft. Working on it last night. So, when you are a diehard, that's exclusive access to content like that. And then, of course, our Discord channel where they're talking Bears in there. They're talking all the different sports. And we do some diehard overtimes where you can ask us questions person to person when the show's over. So a lot of different things to become a diehard that help you, give you some perks. So sign up at allchgo.com/diehard to sign up today.
All right. Dalton and the Sheriffs, by the way, playing a full show on that Saturday at Joe's on Weed, too. So I'm learning the Dalton and the Sheriffs right now.
Yeah, man. They're always at Joe's.
Yeah, my good friend Jay and Dennis and Dan and Joey and Bryce and Brian and Kate and Brendan and Tim and Zach.
I shot the sheriff.
Okay.
But I did not shoot the deputy.
I thought that was Bob Marley. They sing that song?
They do.
Okay.
Can I talk now?
Yes, you can.
Are you going to yell at everybody again?
No, I'm not yelling. I want to share information.
Yes, sir.
From Nick, who,
Let's hear
you're
it.
asking for him to do work and then blabbering about sheriffs. Coleman Shelton's 34 quarterback pressures were allowed. Pressures allowed. 34 QB pressures allowed were tied for the most last season with Aaron Brewer, according to Pro Football Focus. I'm assuming that's among centers.
Brewer just got a 3-year deal, didn't he? So
Yeah.
I mean, we're only doing a 1-year deal for Coleman for him being the second worst center in the NFL. So that's good.
My initial reaction to this is it's competition, and we'll see what the money is.
1-year deal, and then what was Bates? A 3-year? What is it?
They had matched a 4-year offer sheet, so there would be 3 years left on that.
3 years left.
There's 2 years left on Bates.
Two left.
Wasn't it a 4-year offer sheet, the Bears?
That was
Yeah, but
2
that was 2
years
years
ago.
ago.
Oh, that was 2 years
So,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
2 years left with Bates, 1 year left with Dalton. So that does speak to the opportunity for them. This is some bridge options, but they'll probably, still a very good likelihood they address that need
Who's
at
Dalton?
some point in the draft.
Draft the center.
Oh,
What?
who's Dalton?
The center.
Shelton?
Oh, Shelton. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did
You're
I say
thinking of
Dal-
the sheriffs.
I'm thinking of the Sheriffs. Yeah, I'm
That's what-
sorry.
I thought you were talking Shelton, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no,
Maybe-
the Sheriffs.
Maybe Dalton and the Sheriffs.
Dalton and the Sheriffs.
That could be like that would be a cool offensive line name.
Yeah.
If you did have a center named Dalton who
Dalton
was
and the
really
Sheriffs.
awesome, it'd be like Dalton and the Sheriffs.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm getting confused. There's a lot of names thrown around.
Yeah.
You are officially
I'm
Dalton.
easily confused.
Karm says he has 2 apologies.
Oh, man.
My first question is, why is it only 2?
Well, I probably could come up with a couple more. You're right.
Yeah, and
but,
you should.
Okay. Stop talking. Give me 60 seconds here.
I'm sure it'll be 60.
It will. First of all, I have an announcement before I even go to the apologies, and that, of course, is that I am now 2-0 in the Spring Tennis League after taking out the outstanding human being that I faced last night, whose name is escaping me, comes from Australia. But last week, as you all know because you're following deeply, I took out the Van Duzer, my good friend Greg Van Duzer, and I probably talked a little bit too confidently about that. And then I mentioned to Van Duzer that I talked about it, and then he went back and listened.
I knew this was going to happen.
And now I would like to I owe an apology to Greg, who, quite frankly, and I hate to admit this because you never want to show weakness, but who's better than me at the game of tennis? And it's been it's an honor for me to be on the court with a man of his talents, and just to be even in the match.
So he kicked your ass.
No, I beat him last week, but he's beaten me, and he'll beat me again, and he's just overall better than me at the game. But so I kind of I think I got a little full of myself, and I just like to apologize to Greg, who I think I did say at the time that we sat together afterwards, we talked life, it was wonderful. So one of the great tennis players out there, Greg Van Duzer, I owe you an apology.
Oh my God!
For the record,
Karm
just apologized to Greg.
I'm serious. The fact that a Greg was apologized to and it wasn't me is complete bullshit.
Okay, we're gonna get
complete bullshit.
We're gonna get to you in a second. I also would like to apologize to Panera. I got some oatmeal today as I was waiting for the Metro
Is your
train,
order ready?
And I got my order, and
our order number.
And I have
order 330.
I walked out with this, and I promise you, on my way back today, you will get your doohickey back. That I reached it. I was like, how do I have 2 cell phones? Did somebody stick a phone in my pocket? Nope, it was
pager. For the people listening to the podcast, Carmen's holding one of those pagers that his order's ready.
Yeah, my order was ready. It was delicious, and I'd like to apologize to Panera for this slight moment of theft in my life. So
people are wondering who orders oatmeal.
People who want to live another day. That's who orders it. And listen,
Jacob's wondering where the timer is on this 60 seconds.
Yeah. And
this is borderline going longer than Braggs' draft party announcement.
Now, who I would like to not apologize to is the guy to my left. That would be Gregory P. Allen Braggs, who called me up yesterday in the afternoon screaming at me to give him credit because at some point on the show
not on the show. In the meeting after the show yesterday.
Okay. At some point in the meeting after the show, at that point where I probably 100% was not listening, you said that the Bears need to. Well, what did you say? That the Bears would get.
We were talking about Drew Lock, and we were talking about.
They needed a veteran quarterback.
Right. One of the most basic, innocuous, boring comments of all time.
I said that the Bears, because we were talking about the free agent market and whether or not Poles was sitting out of the quarterback market. And I said, well, why wouldn't they sign Drew Lock? He has experience with the team and the playbook and Shane Waldron and Kerry Joseph. And you mocked it, even though you act like you weren't paying attention.
I don't remember.
You said they'd stick with Nathan Peterman, and then an hour later they signed. Yes.
What I said is that they're sticking with Bajent as the backup. Which would mean you would sign somebody more like Nathan Peterman, who knows he's just the third quarterback veteran in the room.
Okay.
Or Brett Sad-Ass Rippin.
Which is what they did. They signed Brett Rippin, who will be the QB3.
The synopsis
and knows the offense and will help Caleb Williams and Bajent learn the new offense. The synopsis
of my whole thing, it doesn't even matter about Caleb versus Justin. It's just about having a veteran quarterback, whether he sucks or not, in in the room that has experience with the offense. That was the point of bringing up Drew Lock. And you two mocked me, and I gave you credit for Gardner Minshew, and you, the scumbag you are, didn't give me credit. And then I cussed him out on the phone and at the gym, and a lady was hearing me undress Karm while I was walking into the YMCA at Crown Point.
I said on the show earlier the week that I would think that Luke Getsy and the Raiders would choose Gardner Minshew over Justin, and then later that day they signed Gardner Minshew. That was worthy of a little bit of a Karm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And I gave you credit.
Thank you, because I deserved it. You, on the other hand,
did Hoge give you credit on Twitter? No, he didn't. I did.
I did it in person.
Integrity.
I'm a good friend.
Integrity. You have no integrity. Keep going with whatever the hell you're saying.
You didn't mention the guy that they signed yesterday, and then you screamed like a 3-year-old wanting attention.
Wasn't about the name of the player. We were talking about veteran quarterbacks and whether or not Poles was sitting out of the quarterback market. That was the point. You love the twist, so you don't have to give credit. Yeah.
There is zero twist.
And you're not sitting out of this either, Hoge.
I'm not. I'm going to be the judge. The judge is Karm deserves more credit for his
I didn't say he
Minshew
nailed
comment.
it. I'm not saying he didn't nail it.
You saying that the Bears need to sign a veteran quarterback still is just a statement.
It's not worthy of some. It's certainly. It's
Everyone knows that.
And then I brought up Drew Lock with the familiarity with the system and a 1-year, 5-year deal, and that would have been worthy to sign. And you were like, you brought up that they were just going to keep back. Stop it, because you said they're just going to keep Nathan Peterman because he's working out with Caleb.
Brett Rippon is Nathan Peterman.
No, he isn't.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No, he isn't,
Yes,
because
he is.
Nathan doesn't have familiarity with Shane Waldron and Kerry Joseph like Brett
Same
Rippon. No, he doesn't.
Guy.
No, he isn't.
Okay.
Nathan Peterman doesn't have experience in the offense. Now shut up and move on.
Brett Rippon is not going to be the backup quarterback. If he makes the team, he'll be the third string quarterback. You didn't. You begging for credit.
I didn't beg.
You screaming at me and calling me a scumbag in the middle of my afternoon.
Conflate.
Let's get
Don't
to
conflate.
super chats.
Don't conflate.
Conflate. You A, don't know what that means, and B, if you're using it correctly.
I am using it correctly,
What does it
so
mean?
you don't know
What
what
is
it
it?
means.
Steven might be time
Here
to
we
mute
go
them.
again.
What does it mean?
Here we go
Tell
again.
me what it means.
Yeah.
So if anybody would like a glimpse at what our meetings are like both before
This
and
is
after
it.
the show,
This is it.
We're gonna have a long one
usually
today.
Steven and me trying to do work and these two going off into some weird argument like that and then not listening to the rest of the meeting. So you just got that live on the show.
You would like to find out, though, if he knows what the meaning of conflate is. You know he doesn't.
Oh my God. Read a
I
book.
would actually like to.
One of us went to college and one of us
You didn't
didn't
know what day St. Patrick's Day was.
What does conflate mean?
Corey Wooten didn't know.
Answer-
Corey Wooten didn't know.
Just as bad. I don't know why that's anything.
Answer the question. What does conflate mean?
I used it in the proper context.
What does it mean?
Did I or did I not? Answer the question.
I don't know.
I got to give you the exact
Yes. You need to
English dictionary definition
roughly.
of conflate.
Give me, roughly. What does it mean?
A synonym for it would be exacerbate, to make it bigger than it actually is.
Conflation is the merging of two or more sets of information, text, ideas, or opinions into one, often in error. That's not what I did.
You're wrong.
It's not even close to what I did.
Did you just tell the dictionary it's wrong?
Yeah. No, I'm telling you,
I did conflate.
you're a jackass. That's what I'm telling you.
Let's do some super chats.
All right.
Kareem, $2. Discord have been making moves. This is in reference to our draft party. Meaning he probably
Discord
got his
the jump
ticket.
on the party.
Thank you, Kareem.
That's good.
Look forward to seeing you there. Hopefully you're there.
Drew
We need
Black
you.
with a $5 super chat. Thoughts on swapping Ritter plus draft picks for Fields? Well, this is off the table now. He gets to sit behind Cousins and be eventual successor, and we get developmental backup.
Yeah. Obviously, the trade happened since then. Ritter's headed to the Cardinals. But I get the thinking there. And, I mean,
Good job not conflating, Drew.
yeah, the Falcons made their move, though. All right, what's next?
This isn't a super chat, but I just wanted to shout out Matthew Gregory, who just ordered the CHGO Tavern style shirt.
Yes,
Nice.
Gregory.
I'm hoping mine comes today. I know it's shipped. I got the hoodie, too. We got that in the hoodie. It's great.
Thanks, Matt Gregory. You the man.
The super fan disciple, $4.99. Sorry, guys. Appreciate your show, but JF1 isn't for sale. So
Maybe you're right. Or maybe it could work out that way.
Stop saying that.
I changed it instantly. Settle down.
That was exactly what I was talking about earlier.
I look.
Joey Bosa restructured his contract and will remain with the Chargers.
Good job, Greg. That's an excellent job of following. The
Shut
news and
up.
reporting
Read the
it.
super chat.
Really good job by you.
Guy Finley, $20. With all due respect to the Duke, when you win the lottery and are getting a mansion, you really don't give a blank what you're doing with your old house. That's in reference to the very long and repetitive housing real estate analogy from our show the other day.
I thought it was a great job by the Duke.
But that's a good point from Guy Finley. You win the lottery. Do you really care when you're selling your house?
No.
I also, just to push back a little bit, Guy, you still want to get what you can for Fields in this situation. So
We got a couple here from Swaggy Ken, $20. This one didn't have a message on it, but I did see here. Love you guys and appreciate all you do. Going to become a diehard just so I could hear Karm say good things about me.
it's true. That is the way to earn your way into Karm's heart.
And then he sent another $20 super chat here. Seaside, California Bear checking in, bear down.
Oh, that sounds nice.
All right.
Better than the rain that we dealt with this morning. Seaside, California. Let's
Dude,
go.
It was pouring.
What do we got next here?
This one from the super fan disciple, $5. Hoge, you ever think some of the Bears fans aren't actually Bears fans? Social media is a hiding place for assholes.
Well, it's an interesting question because I do actually wonder if there's like some weird those like bot accounts that are literally just programmed right now to say bad things about Caleb Williams to go along with it. But
Caleb bots.
I think the Venn diagram of some Bears fans and then the point that she's trying to make, there's a little bit of a crossover there. Said that as nicely as I could. Isaac Siegel, $10. Hoge being the adult in the room when it comes to fandom. Thank you, Hoge. Appreciate you, brother. Such a blessing to have you in Chicago. Hoge equals Bears lifetime fan and reporter MVP.
Wow, nice, very nice of Isaac.
Thank you, Isaac. I greatly appreciate that support. And honestly, I appreciate, the 99% of the people that watch and listen and support the show, that's kind of the point of what I'm trying to make. Like, I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear you defend Justin Fields. Our general manager's in here every day doing the same thing, and we have nice, respectful conversations about it, and he's even willing to admit at the end of most of them that what he wants isn't probably going to be what happens. There's a way to do that and be human about it.
Yes, you also know
isn't.
that you are asking for something that's never going to happen, and that people are going to fan how they're going to fan, or they're going to Twitter how they're going to Twitter, and your desires are beautiful but unlikely to ever be met.
No. But this is not fanning how you want to fan. It's Twittering how you're going to Twitter.
Well, okay, then put it on that umbrella.
And it's, again, that's why I was talking to a very small subsection fan base. It's saying that's not really being a fan.
Right. Well, and
It's
that's
just not supporting your team.
and that subsection is always going to be that subsection.
I think I made progress today.
You think
I think I turned one of them.
You got one?
I think I got one. If I got one today, it was worth it.
You did get Friel, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that much.
And I got a nice super chat from Isaac, so it was all worth it. Thank you,
I
Isaac.
think it was worth it. I don't
Yeah.
think the point is that it was for you.
It was probably for me.
Yes.
I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah.
Nuku, also for us.
Nuku's the greatest. You don't have to worry about Nuku.
Nuku's your
I'm worried
guy.
about Nuku.
Okay, I'll read it.
love
$4.99. Everybody knows that complete strangers on the internet need proof of an athlete working out in the offseason. Caleb should know better.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Sarcasm, yeah.
Thank you, Nuku. All right, I'll jump in here, help you out. Crystal, $9.99. Hoge, I agree and I support you in that. I'm definitely a Fields girl, but I don't ever want to post horrible things about Caleb because of it. Hashtag stand with Hoge. You got to stand with Hoge after a stand with Fields. Crystal's the greatest. We appreciate her to the end of the earth. Mario D. Los Santos, $9.99. The same people trashing Fields are the same people that are going to be praising Caleb the moment he takes off. And I pray when they draft Caleb, there isn't any booze. We have to back him up. They're not. Brax, you see.
Well, there's going to be a ton of booze when we draft Caleb. I'm going to be drinking some whiskey and some Miller Lite. Plenty of booze.
Oh, there we go.
With a Z.
Booze, I get it.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Booze with a Z.
I don't. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think, at least at our draft party, there's going to be any booing.
If Justin Fields
you're
is
drinking Casa Azul.
if Justin Fields is still on the roster, it will create a touchy situation the night of the draft for fans.
Yeah.
100%.
Sure.
So
Okay.
we'll just have to see if it gets to that point, but it's
I'm predicting-
certainly something I'm monitoring.
I'm predicting no booing. Steve B, $5. Hoge, thanks for all of you. I've been watching you on CHGO since the beginning of Hoge and Johns because you are the best Chicago reporter.
Thank you, Steve. I'd say Johns is probably better than me though. But I appreciate it.
I go Cheryl Ray. Next up is Dalton Peterson, $20.69.
Dalton and the Sheriffs.
Good afternoon from South Carolina, guys. Love listening to y'all every day. Just wanted to say keep up the great work. Thank you, Dalton. Not Coleman. Dalton. That's Dalton. You got that, Braggy?
Dalton and the Sheriffs, I just said.
Yeah, this is Dalton Peterson. Mr. Peterson. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rex is having trouble with names today.
Looking forward to
Why,
getting
did I fuck it up again?
Yes, you did. Looking
How?
forward to get you just don't you're just not there.
Greg, say hi to Dalton.
Say hi
What's
to
up, Dalton?
There you go.
There you
Looking forward to getting a resolution soon for all parties involved regarding the QB situation. I don't know if it's coming anytime soon, Dalton. This thing is on the drag situation, drag vision. Let's not drag racing last year. All right, moving along. Next up is
Bears should have signed Andy Dalton.
the Bears did sign Andy Dalton in March because they had to get ahead of it, and it was the dumbest thing ever. Outside of the Mike Glennon, outside of drafting Mitch Trubisky, outside of
Just go to the next Super.
Dan Evans, $20. What's up, Dan? Buried lead. Hoge, born on North Side, but is a Sox fan. That's true.
Accurate.
You lived on the south side, though, didn't you?
No.
You said you were by the Oak Lawn area.
No, my mom.
Oh,
My
your mom.
My
Okay.
mom's from Oak Lawn. That's why the Sox fan thing.
I mean,
And my dad's from Princeton, Illinois, and listened to Harry Carey when he was with the Sox.
Harry and Jimmy, greatest team ever. Until they were broken up for some reason. Peter Lewis.
Karm was born on third base and thought he hit a triple.
Where is that coming from?
It was a good joke.
Braggs was my friend once, and now he isn't. Peter Lewis, $10. When teams have an athletic
You
QB,
conflated our friendship.
we're sending you back to school, and we'll start at kindergarten. When teams have an athletic QB,
Where they teach you what day St. Patrick's Day is.
Nobody knows.
you did not graduate grammar school. We all know it. You failed
Emma.
third grade.
What day every year is St. Patrick's Day? See? So be quiet.
No, they didn't.
No, every day.
What?
What calendar date is St. Patrick's Day every year? Everyone be quiet. Answer the question, Emma. Thank you. Nobody knows this.
They legitimately didn't know.
Nobody knows.
Sarah and Emma over there legitimately
Woot didn't know it last night. My wife. an
March
educated-
17th.
The
Who
date-
the fuck cares?
Okay. All right. This will be continued after the show. This is not.
Woot
great
didn't know. My educated wife didn't know. Nobody knows, but you losers who didn't know Bofa.
Okay. That was me. Back to you, Peter Lewis, $10. When teams have an athletic quarterback who isn't QB1, why don't they use them in a 2 QB sets more often? Would love to see JF line up a wide receiver running back with Caleb at QB. They lob it back and forth and frustrate defenses. Peter, this is not.
Peter, in a world where Justin Fields or any other backup quarterback would be happy running routes and doing crazy things like that, in that world that doesn't really exist except for one guy, Taysom Hill, apparently. Shout out to him. I agree with you. I would fucking love to see that. That sounds amazing.
It'd be fun.
It would be super fun. I would love to see that.
Yeah, but we're.
The
We did that for Fields' first game here.
Right, because he was new and he wanted to be on the field.
Right.
So
And that was it.
yeah, but once you make that guy the starter, not gonna be like, yeah, I'll just go to be playing wide receiver now.
Quinn Anderson, $5. As long as Coleman can actually snap the effing ball consistently, he's an improvement. Still need to draft a new center. Quinn,
Well said.
that could be the super chat of the show so far. Excellent job. True story. Rolling it back there, not great. Dan Feeney included. The Duke 2.0, 1999.
Oh, the Duke.
Hoge, what were your thoughts on the Athletic article today talking about Badger football struggles and Fickle as head coach? Are we ever going to get back to what we were?
Did we know that Duke was a we with
Yeah, we did.
Wisconsin?
He's a Badger.
Okay,
we knew
didn't
that.
know that.
I didn't know that.
We pay attention when Duke talks.
Hey, the Karm didn't know that, so don't
I didn't
we
know
with
that.
him. You're conflating.
Karm knew that too. He forgot it.
I mean, I knew he had Wisconsin something, but I didn't know he was a Badger.
Duke, I have not read that story yet. I will check it out. Was not aware of that yet today. I will read it. And I will say that I'm not sure.
I like to know what the Duke's avatar is all about. Big Cram, there's a reason.
This is a great avatar.
The reason why I had oatmeal today is because of that picture.
Real quick, Fickle turns things around in year 2. He did it at Cincinnati. That's my thought, Duke. Have faith.
All right, Big Cram, we got to work on that thing. It's haunting to me. But $9.99 for my guy Big Cram. The irony that these are going to put Caleb in the Hall of Fame if he ever throws for 4,000 yards.
He's saying the fans that are burying him right now
Okay.
are going to put him in the Hall of Fame if he ever throws for 4,000.
I got it, Big Cram.
And that is true.
Well, if he does throw for 4,000 yards in a Bears uniform, he'll be the all-time leading passer for one season in Bears history. All right. $19.99 from the Duke. Again, my guy. We should keep Justin Fields and draft Caleb. Let him fight it out. These are professional athletes that have done nothing but compete for their spot their whole lives. That way we can cut Bajent. Looking for a reaction from Cram.
Just let the record show you called yourself Cram there.
Yeah, that said Karm.
That is amazingly pathetic and upsetting, and I apologize to myself for doing that
You
to
like how
Karm.
I've infiltrated your
You're
mind.
not a Karm.
The Karm
You're-
apology segment of the show has now turned into him apologizing to himself.
You're not a Karm. You're a Karm, and
You're a Cram.
and don't do that ever again. Duke, I've said bring them, let them both cook and compete, and I agree with you that it would ultimately be a lot more palatable, if you will, than what everybody else seems to
And
think.
Duke, Wisconsin basketball tips off in 12 minutes.
So the show will end in 11.
Wisconsin basketball does not tip off in 12 minutes.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
It's called the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, okay, I'm a day behind. My bad. Who they playing?
Michigan State has already won today while we were doing the show, and Wisconsin,
Who is Wisconsin playing? Rutgers?
Maryland.
Maryland beat Rutgers?
Smoked Rutgers last night.
In the 12-13 game?
That
Okay.
makes me feel better about the game today. I think they would have lost to Rutgers.
Wisconsin wins. They play Northwestern.
Tomorrow at 1 o'clock after the CHGO Bears podcast that I will be on with Adam Hoge that you're producing.
We'll see.
There you go. $5 from Isaac Siegel. Feels like a lot like Cedric.
Van Pran, he's the Georgia center in the draft.
Oh, and the third to me with the moves they made at center.
I like to say Von Prawn, personally.
I like it, Isaac. Good call.
For sure.
All right.
I'm a big fan of the center from Penn State as well, but not going to complain about Von Prawn.
Where are we going next? Jay Evans, $10. I've lost a lot of respect for local sports media guys for the Caleb infatuation, but not because of polls. One of those number one picks is getting traded, whether we like it or not.
I don't get the last part.
One of those number one.
Yeah, and I don't get I've lost a lot of respect for the media guys for the Caleb, but not because of polls. What does polls have to do with it?
I think he was saying because of the polls part of my rant. I don't know, Jay. We appreciate the super. I would just like to point out, though, once again, that literally the entire NFL world is infatuated with Caleb Williams.
I've always,
and it's not just the local sports media. If you could find any other than Nate Tice right now, I don't know that I have seen a draft board where Caleb Williams isn't the number one prospect.
I've always tried to look at things like inside out, like look inward, and understand why why I react to things a certain way. And so, like, to me, I have self-reflected a lot in the last few months. Like, do we go too heavily on the Caleb Williams thing, right? And like, should we be considering all the scenarios, including Justin Fields saying and trading back? We have talked about those things. But then I would encourage anyone that looks on the other side of the coin and is adamant that they're going to keep Justin Fields and has lost a lot of respect for the media for their infatuation of Caleb Williams to try to look at it on the other side of the coin and try to acknowledge your personal bias for what you want and see if you can come to a conclusion that maybe there is an unfair, perspective that you're heaping onto people because they're not saying what you want them to say.
And don't conflate.
And don't conflate it.
Yep.
Peter Lewis, $10. High character guys put the team first when they lose first team reps. Isn't Justin high character? Why would he pout, sabotage, whatever else? None of the other pros do. They keep playing hard. This is if the two have to coexist on the same roster.
It's my point. I think that Justin will be a good teammate because that's who he is. Period. End of story.
If he's forced to do that, that is how he would act publicly, 100%. If you think internally that's how he would truly feel about the situation.
Karm, this last one's for you.
That's naive.
Yeah, of course he would not be happy in that scenario. That's true too. Yeah, boy, Boogie, my guy. Bofa. Have you all heard about Ligma? I knew you were going to. Look at that. Was I not supposed to say that? L-I-G? I mean, like, the youth of America, Emma in particular, is looking at me like I'm a complete loser. And maybe I am. Do you know what's going on?
I'm not even saying
I know
this one.
I'm
not even saying this one on the air.
I'm trying to think of what it would be. I can't.
What is it? Why don't you text me what it means, please? Then I'll decide how I want to handle the rest of this.
You don't know what Ligma?
No, I don't. I'm not.
Oh, this has just turned into elementary school on CHGO Bears. I guess no different from any other.
I mean, you're the only one here.
Starting Monday.
I can't. I don't even know if I should say this on the air because I did enough.
I don't want you to. And I'm ending the show with a new show announcement, okay, that I'm deciding right now. Starting Monday, these two won't be on the same show together anymore, ever again.
Well, that's not fair. Well, you don't like having fun?
It's fair.
Do you not like having fun?
You will still be on the show, but not together.
That's ridiculous.
Ever again.
So you don't like having fun?
The rest of the place here is clapping.
So you don't like having fun. Lawrence doesn't like having fun, so you don't like having fun. Now you're in the club.
Okay.
What is it?
I think it's what is it? It's what hands down is putting in the chat.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm going to end the show now. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you very much. James, thanks for all the super chats. Go to allchgo.com.
We got one more thing.
/events.
One more thing.
We always do have
one
one more thing.
We got
he
one
does
more
it
thing.
every time.
It's not Hoge's. This is Hoge's problem.
It's not Hoge's
hands
problem.
down.
You could have done it sometime in the last 40 minutes
hands
of this
down,
third segment, which has been Karm's apology segment.
Hands down did make a shirt for Karm.
I'm not putting that on screen. I can't do that.
Shout out to our latest and newest and bestest diehard of yesterday, Christian. The speed, the power, the cutting ability, the attention to detail.
Yes.
Rolling solo as a solo diehard on one day. That doesn't make him uncomfortable. Also a team player. Shout out to our newest diehard, Christian. Now you can end the show.
That was it? Just one today?
Just one.
Just
Not
one.
enough. We need more diehards to sign up so you can get a discount on our draft party coming up in 42 days. So you become a diehard. I want 10 diehards today. All of you get discounts. Come out to our draft party. Mark Carman will buy you drinks all night long. Casa Azul. Joe's on Weed Street. Circus Sports. Having fun. Good vibes. Good times.
I mean,
bear down.
Just for the last part of the show, I think it's at least worthy of one diehard. So thank you so much for all your support. We appreciate it. And now I've learned a new term, and perhaps Braggs has learned how to not use the word conflate.
Oh, my God.
Have a great day.
We'll
you can say goodbye?
Oh, I'm allowed to now? Yes. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon.
We all silly like the mayor.